Hello everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you about the supermoon, the full moon in Gemini that we have taking place December 4th, and the overall energies for the first half of December. If you've been looking for a sign from spirit, from the universe, consider this it. December 2025 is way more than just your average month. Yes, of course, it is the last month of the year, but it's also a cosmic final curtain call. If you have felt stuck, delayed, frustrated, or like you've been swimming against the current all year long, you are not alone. And this month, this December, is a month where this can finally start to shift. The universe is handing you a major reset button, but you have to know how to use it. Saturn, the planet Saturn, the big boss planet of karma and time, is finally moving forward after months of feeling like we've been stuck in the mud. And then we have our powerful full moon in Gemini, a super moon nonetheless, to close out 2025. This is our final full moon of the year, and it is a super moon, very potent. This full moon is giving you the chance to shed everything that has been holding you back. Now, you can either get ready for this major reset now, or you miss risking your shot at real destined change before 2026 kicks off. 2025 is a 9-year. It's about wrapping things up. It's an ending, a culmination. And 2026 is a 1-year. It's all about the new beginnings, beautiful new beginnings, manifestation. So, what do the stars say that you must do? We're about to break down exactly that. And please know that for my Soul Scribers, which is my special subscription for my members, I give a breakdown each month for all 12 zodiac signs. You can always find out about my Soul Scription. I will link it right in the description box below. So regardless of what your sun sign is, the message for December 2025 is loud and clear for all. Clarity is on the way, but you have to meet it halfway. The universe, the divine, spirit, however you look at that, rewards disciplined action and emotional honesty. This is not a time for big flashy gestures, but rather those small, sincere shifts, those small shifts that build a new foundation for your life. Saturn moving forward now is giving you the momentum, and this full moon is clearing the path. Release and receive. That's the message. This is your moment, December 2025, to step up and let go, to consciously close one chapter so that you can start the next one with intention and strength. So tell me, what are you choosing to release this December? And what are you most excited to build? Leave a comment below with your zodiac sign and your intention for this powerful month. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more guidance to help you on your path. Thanks for watching. Yes, December is a power month. Please know that the first 15 days or so, the first half, can still feel a little bit sluggish, even though it's going to also have a lot churning. The second half of December is really where the momentum picks up. I'm going to come back with another reading for the second half like I always do. But please know, this is still a power month. There's a lot going on, but the first half, the first front of it, can still feel a little bit sluggish, like we're gaining traction and we're still kind of trudging through the sludge, so to speak. But we also, at the same time, are clearing away a lot of mental clutter. The quote that I have channeled for the whole month of December: when the inner flame ignites, the soul takes flight. December opens the door to everything you're ready to receive. Very powerful for the final month of the year. Before we get to this full moon on the 4th, on December 2nd, Uranus, the planet of change and freedom and liberation and shockwaves and a lot of times very unexpected electrifying change. Uranus is going to move back because Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. Uranus will move back to the 28th degree of Taurus. This is not the first time Uranus has passed over the 28th degree here, passed through the 28th degree. But please know that if you have any of your personal points and or placements at 28 degrees of Taurus, especially Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you are getting this Uranus transit, and you're really going to be feeling like you're having this final wake-up call where you need to make a change, or the change is coming outside of you and it's just everything's being dismantled or disrupted in one or more areas of your life, but it's necessary change. Uranus is the divine disruptor. It's meant to pull us onto the path of authenticity. And a lot of times it's very uncomfortable, especially if you're fixed energy, which is Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. Think of it like destabilizing to stabilize something in your life, an area of your life. And this will feel Obviously the most strongest if you've got any points or placements at that 28th degree of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius. Then we get to the final full moon of the year, the Gemini full moon on December 4th. This is also a super moon. It is that much closer to us, astronomically speaking, that much closer to Earth. It's perigee. So it will appear brighter and much larger than our typical full moon. Now, please know that we've also had 2 supermoons preceding this one. October's full moon was also a supermoon, our Aries full moon. November was also a supermoon, our Taurus full moon. And December is closing out the year with our 3rd supermoon. This one will be in the sign of Gemini. Full moons are always a release point and a culmination. It's a coming to a head, sort of like a crisis energy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an actual crisis. But when we have a full moon, it's when the sun and the moon are in exact opposition to each other. And the sun is currently in the fire sign of Sagittarius. This full moon will occur in the air sign of Gemini. These are both what we call mutable energies. So there can be this feeling of being all over the place and feeling a little bit scattered. Yet at the same time, this full moon is fabulous for clearing away mental clutter and really working with us to get us on our track, on the track that's the most conducive and constructive for our soul's journey at this time. The Gemini-Sagittarius polarity, the axis of Gemini and Sagittarius, is one of intellect. Gemini represents the lower mind ruled by the planet Mercury, where Sagittarius rules the higher mind. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. This full moon energy is really encouraging us to think logically, Gemini, and also to reach for the stars and to dream and to expand. Sagittarius energy symbolizes the quest for meaning. This is about ideas and realizations that expand beyond the here and now. Everyone will feel and experience the potency of this full moon, but it's going to feel the most strong if you've got strong mutable energy in your birth chart. And you can always download your birth chart for free right on my website. I also have a lot of teaching material to help you out, both free and paid. I'll link everything in the description box below. But if you are Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces, or you have strong points and or placements in any of those mutable signs, you are going to feel this energy the most strongly. And even more so if any of those points and or placements fall between 11 and 15 degrees, with an emphasis on the 13th degree, because that is the degree that this full moon will fall at. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart. Here is the chart for our Gemini full moon, our super moon, our final full moon of 2025. Takes place December 4th, 6:14 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be 3:14 p.m. Pacific Time. Adjust this for your time zone. I have this set for New York time, Eastern Time. Here we have the sun at 13 degrees and 3 minutes of Sagittarius, directly opposite the moon at 13 degrees and 3 minutes of Gemini. At the 13th degree, that puts this Gemini full moon in what we call the second decan of Gemini, which is the second third here of degrees for this sign, for this zodiac sign. That gives this supermoon a Libra feeling, and Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. The love energy is very strong, and the clarity around relationships is also quite strong. And there's an emphasis on honest and authentic communication as we close out this month, specifically around this full moon. The tarot card associated with this decan of Gemini is the Nine of Swords. Swords are where we are in our head, in our mind. The Nine of Swords represents anxiety and in some cases downright despair. This can also represent sleepless nights, something that's plaguing us, but it's a 9, so it's a culmination, and we are coming out of a 9-year this year. So new beginnings are imminent with whatever endings take place around this supermoon. And let me be clear, these could be endings of the emotional kind, of the mental kind. They don't necessarily have to be external events. They certainly can be, but they do not have to be. This will play out for everyone differently, dependent on your own unique circumstances and your own unique astrological chart, your astrological configuration, your soul contract. That's why I always promote everyone to really learn even the basics of their chart. It's just extremely helpful in pulling you forward on your path with heightened awareness and clarity. The Nine of Swords energy and the first half of December and around this full moon in general, anxiety can definitely be heightened. We can feel a lot of nervous tension within the body, and even more so if you've got strong Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius. So please take care, prioritize rest, stay on top of your grounding rituals and routines. Awareness is half the battle. This is not the time for any of us to neglect our health, especially this first part of December. It's a little crunchy because we've got Mars and Saturn moving into a square, and this definitely puts a lot at stake and a lot at risk, mind, body, spirit. So we just need to be a little bit more aware as we move throughout the first, I'd say 8 or 9 days of December specifically, because Mars and Saturn is like, we can be a little hasty and we can get ourselves into situations that are not necessarily the best for us, and they can even be downright destructive. So we need to watch out for that, specifically when it comes to our health. I also want to bring up the other 2 tarot cards associated with Gemini energy because I feel like it's very relevant here and to this particular full moon, the supermoon. The Lovers is the card that Gemini rules over, and also the Magician. The Lovers is about choice and consequence. This is about those choices, those karmic callings, those situations that have the potential and that will typically change the trajectory of our life, dependent upon what we do. So it does feel like decisions being made at this time are absolutely more charged and maybe even more critical for us than the recent past months. And with the Magician is one. This is all about manifestation in its finest form. We have the tools that we need to succeed. We have what it takes to start our new journey, to start a new leg of our journey. And the Magician reminds us of that. So even with a little bit of anxiety that might and most definitely will be present, 9 of Swords, we have the wherewithal to move through it and make the decisions that are right for our soul, for our soul's evolution. This is a great time for tying up loose ends and speaking your truth. This is what will set your heart free. Back to the chart. The tightest aspect to this full moon is that we've got a square to the nodes of fate. This is the T-square. We've got the moon in Gemini squaring the south node in Virgo opposing the north node in Pisces, and then the moon is squaring the north node, and the sun is also squaring the north node and squaring the south node. This is a T-square. This is tension. This is friction. This is also tension and friction with the goal of resolution. And because the nodes of destiny are involved here, there's something quite fated to this time period, to the decisions that we're making, to what's being called into question, to the relationships and situations that are entering our life, and then those that are exiting or falling away from our life. They all have a stronger purpose and meaning towards our future. And what we resist truly persists. There will be reminders of that, reverberations of that, illuminations of that under this energy. If you are off course, it will be obvious, especially again for our mutables, Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini. And for everyone, this particular configuration with the full moon, with the nodes, also suggests that we can be receiving difficulties, encountering difficulties from others that were previously supporting our mission. So there could be something here about getting a little bit of pushback towards a goal or a situation, but it's not going to thwart you entirely. So just look at setbacks right now as step backs. The moon is also loosely opposing Venus. This is trying to get us to go against the grain a little bit, see things a different way, be truthful and stand strong in our convictions, but also have faith in others and in their convictions. Hear all sides. Lots of good debates can be happening under this energy. We've got a really nice grand water trine here. This is increasing the intuitive awareness, the insights coming through, psychic downloads, intuitive abilities popping open, expanding. We have Mercury here now direct in Scorpio, making a trine to Saturn here now direct in Pisces, and Neptune will pull into that as well. And then we've got Jupiter here at 24 degrees of Cancer, trining Saturn, and also trining Mercury. This is our grand trine, our grand water trine. This is fabulous for intuition and creativity, emotion and heartfelt conversations. At the same time, this is a full moon and it is a super moon. Super emotions, super intuition, super flow of receptivity and water energy. So say what you mean and mean what you say. The trick with the signs of Gemini and Sagittarius, which is the axis here of this full moon, is that these two signs can sometimes talk to talk and they don't necessarily always listen. So this is about listening more and maybe talking a little bit less, or at least allowing others to have their space and their place as well, because the emotion, the intuition, and the energy is really flowing. Mercury in a trine to Neptune, this is fabulous for intuitive work. This is fabulous for any kind of alternate therapy. This is fabulous for divination. A great full moon to pull your own tarot card spread as we get ready to close out this month and this year. We have Chiron at 22 degrees of Aries, still in a close alignment with Eris here. Eris, the goddess of discord, and Chiron, the wounded healer. These two are making a quincunx to Mercury, which is as funky as it sounds. There will be reminders here of that which hurts is also medicinal. Somebody may say something to you that really pokes at a deep personal wound, and it might even be something that you've repressed or that you've even forgotten about to a certain degree. And then they say one thing to you, and it can just open up Pandora's box for you and bring you back to a place from 20 years ago in some cases. And that's okay. That's just to show you that there's still another layer of that onion that needs to heal. There's an adjustment that might need to be made within your own healing, within your own wounding. There's a reminder here. Now, to quell that, Mars is here at 22 degrees of Sagittarius in an exact trine with Chiron. So this is supportive. This is saying, hey, when we dig into this, when we take that energy and we use that pain or that anger or that sadness, whatever emotion it brings up, when we use that as motivation or we use that as fuel toward our healing, we can move mountains. This is logical fire with practical exertion. We're dedicated to our own growth. Pluto's in a supportive aspect with Venus. And I mentioned Mars and Saturn moving into an exact square. Mars is here at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Saturn's here at 25 degrees of Pisces at the time of the full moon. When we get to December 8th, they're in an exact square. And then Mars is also moving into a square with Neptune at this point. So I just again want to stress the, not taking risks with our health at this time. There's a lot of things going around right now. I'm not saying to bubble yourself, isolate yourself. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to really take extra care of the physical body, be aware of what lowers your immunity and take precautions because resistance can be lower. It will be lower. And aggravation and inflammation is heightened. And it's not just inflammation of the emotional kind. This is inflammation of the physical kind. So it's a little crunchy as we get past the full moon and we move towards that Mars-Saturn square. But once we pass that, it starts to smooth out. For this full moon, here is where this will land for you by your rising sign. Always follow your rising sign for most accuracy. And then, of course, you can follow your sun sign and even your moon sign if you know it. For Aries rising, this full moon will illuminate your third house. For Taurus, it's your second. Gemini, it's your full moon. It's your first house. Very personal. For Cancer rising, it's your 12th house. For Leo rising, it's your 11th. For Virgo rising, it's your 10th. For Libra rising, it's your 9th. For Scorpio rising, it's your 8th. For Sagittarius rising, your 7th. Capricorn, your 6th. Aquarius, your 5th. And Pisces, your 4th. Please know that also as a part of my soul scription, I go into much more detail when it comes to these lunations. When I do my YouTubes, depending on my energy levels, I go deeper or not. So for right now, I'm going to keep it here. On December 10th, Neptune will station direct at 7:23 a.m. Eastern Time at 29 degrees and 22 minutes of Pisces. So Neptune will now station direct at the critical degree, the final degree, the anaretic degree of its sign that it rules over, Pisces. Neptune is nebulous. Neptune is the planet of illusion and confusion and sometimes deceit, but it's also the planet of compassion and empathy and psychic sensitivity and awareness. It's about unconditional love. And when it's retrograde, life can feel a little too real because you see, Neptune is the planet that can protect us or that works to protect us when reality feels harsh by co-creating a false reality or a narrative that's more fantastical than what it really is. But it also really feeds our faith and our spirituality. We just have to make sure that we are staying in the vibration of what's real, what's, the facts, not just the fantasy. So when Neptune stationed direct, it gives us a break. It re-inspires our faith and our imagination. It allows us to dream again, but also to clear away the nonsense, that which is nebulous and that is really not working for us. Just try not to take escapism too far. Water can feature very strongly and will likely feature very strongly as Neptune stations direct and as we move throughout the remainder of this year. An increase in precipitation, an increase in coldness and wetness in specific areas where it might not normally be that cold and or wet. That could be very possible around the station of Neptune. So all that to say, just let go and really feel everything with your heart. Feel your way through it with your heart. On December 11th, Mercury will enter Sagittarius. Actually, Mercury will re-enter Sagittarius because Mercury, if you recall, entered Sagittarius and then stationed retrograde at 6 degrees and then moved back into Scorpio and stationed direct in Scorpio. So now Mercury will re-enter Sagittarius on the 11th and will remain there until January 1. Think of it like opportunities are reawakening, where we might have been asleep, especially when it comes to our own mental dexterity or any other communications in our lives. Things that have slowed down could start to reemerge. Opportunities can start to move forward again. And we will really start to feel this forward momentum when we get to December 16th, because that is when Mercury will pass its shadow zone, its post-Mercury retrograde shadow, when it gets to 6 degrees of Sagittarius again. Then we'll likely really start to feel like the tires are gaining traction, metaphorically speaking. And just to close out the first half, on December 15th, Mars enters Capricorn and will remain there until January 23rd. This is also a major marker of where the momentum is going to really start to move forward. Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn. Mars does very well here. Mars is what motivates us, what ignites us, what inflames us. It's about what pushes us forth into taking action and to regaining control. And so this is a very positive thing, and this is going to add to the remainder of December, how things are really beginning to pick up, and we're much more motivated to move forward in areas that we need to, even in situations and circumstances that are not necessarily fun for us to have to deal with. We're more motivated to do so. So just know, again, the first half could feel a little bit more sluggish, a little bit more scattered, but you're still going to feel the momentum. You absolutely will. You're still going to be feeling that chomping at the bit energy, and then it will really pick up around that supermoon, around that full moon. The energy is going to be a lot, so please take care of yourself. And then as we move beyond that, we've got the Mars-Saturn, pump the brakes energy, go, 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 stop, 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 impulsivity, hastiness, all of that. We need to try and work the control over that. And once we pass that Mars-Saturn square, once we come off of that, hopefully you'll really start to feel the energy calming down, even though it's still picking back up. I hope that this was helpful. Take really good care of yourself. I will be back soon with the second half of December. And for my soul scribers, be on the lookout for your sign-by-sign guidance for the month of December. And if you'd like to know more about that, it's linked in the description box below. Take good care. Warmest wishes for an abundant, peace-filled December.